There are 4 areas back there in the Sally Port when people bring inmates in and we take inmates out. When they come in the Sally Port, the doors are secured on either side to make sure if somebody gets out of a car, they just can't run out of the building. And in that area, we have a door in the Sally Port that is a secure door. It has to be opened by somebody at the control panel that goes into the intoxilizer room. So officers use that. Then there's a secure door where they deal with inmates who are being held who basically are on suicide watch or have mental problems. And they put them in that, and they take them out through there sometimes if they have to take them out in an ambulance or whatever. Then there's a walk-through door that the general people coming into the jail, officers or whatever, and they're bringing in ambulatory people, can come right through a double set of locked doors. You come in one, it locks, then you come on through the other one and you're into the control room area, the booking area, and then that door locks. Then the last door is a door where all of our transport people are taking people to court and bringing them back. There's a door on the inside where we load that room sometimes with 20 people. And then that door on the inside is locked. Then they open the outside door and they take them out and load them in vans. When they bring them from court, they put them in that door, lock the door, and then they're dealt with by corrections people in booking to put them back to their cells. So there's 4 doors along there. And none of the doors out there are supposed to be open unless somebody is working with that particular room. Somehow, and it has to be human error, and that's what we're looking into, the door that these people in the room they were held in was opened on the outside. And that's when he took advantage of that mistake, is what it is. He took advantage of that, got out into the Sally Port. The door was open for a car going out. He sneaks along the Sally Port, makes sure the car's gone, and out the door he goes. There were 2 other inmates in the holding cell with him, and they did not move. They stayed right where they were until we found that something was wrong. And then they have talked to us a little bit, but not very much. They don't have a lot. They don't know. I think people should be very worried because it's unpredictable right now what this guy is going to do. He's looking at a possible life sentence. I don't know what the judge is going to give him, but he is looking at a lot of time in jail. And I would hope people would consider him extremely dangerous. And I would hope people that are familiar with him would not consider helping him, because that just makes everything worse. If people would call law enforcement, or if he's listening to this sometime, he turns himself in, I think everybody's going to be a lot better off than somebody being hurt, or maybe him even being, I hate to say it, being killed. We've got a lot of people working on it. We've had help from the police department, my staff. They have been working very hard, and they're doing an excellent job. This is something that no agency wants to see happen, especially with a murderer. And in that jail, since that jail was opened in 1995, in May of 95, we had an inmate escape, and that was because of construction things where construction people put glass in certain areas instead of security items. They were told about it, and they said, oh, it's too high up. Nobody can get out of there. So lo and behold, a couple of days after inmates were put in the new jail, they go up, bust out the window, and the kid gets out on the roof, jumps off the roof, breaks his leg. We eventually get him caught relatively quick. And then in January of 97, well, early part of 97, when I took over here, another construction area, when they built the jail and the housing units, they built a perfect chute that went from the ground where the shower is clear up to the roof, and it was about 3 feet, 3.5 feet wide. We had an inmate get in there, put his back on this wall, his feet on this wall, and shinned his way up to the ceiling, which is like this. Went out through the ceiling, which is approximately 35, 40 feet up, and got into the top area, kicked out a door, and he was caught in a relatively short time. So that's early 97, and this is the first inmate since then that has escaped from the facility. As you all know, we have had inmates who have been given furloughs by the court to go to funerals or whatever, and they were classified as escapees because they didn't come back. But actual building escape, This is the third inmate since the building opened in '95. As far as I'm concerned, that's really 3 too many. We have been to numerous homes in the city and the county, talked to quite a few people, have talked to people in different parts of the state, and nobody, at least people that we're talking to, are willing to tell us that they have been communicating with him. So we have no idea right now exactly where he's at. We've had sightings to Concordia, to the Minneapolis area. We've had sightings supposedly all over town. We're covering everything, but nothing is coming to where he's at.
So he did have to get through 4 separate doors to get out?
No, he had to
just
get through one door.
Okay.
There are 4 different doors in the Sallyport that come into the secure part of the jail. There's one here, one here, one here, and one over here. And he managed the room, the holding room that he was in is a room that we normally keep people who are on suicide watch or some other necessity to keep them away from general population. And yesterday, that room was empty. The other room where they were transporting inmates back and forth to court was full of people. So they brought them in, took them out of their chains and everything, locked them in this room, and then that door was opened. We are working with Crime Stoppers to see if we can make an announcement on a reward that would be paid if somebody helps us capture this fellow. This isn't a capture and convict. This is a capture. He's already been convicted. And I was talking to the KBI and asking them to see what they can do to help us have the state dedicate some money also to this, but none of that's been confirmed yet.